Y'all remember those wild rumors that Kim Porter supposedly had some secret footage of Diddy and Usher? And then came the talk about Usher ending up in the hospital because of Diddy. Well, the way things are unfolding now, after that Diddy documentary dripped, it looks like the feds might have actually stumbled on something related to all that.
Well, I mentioned that earlier, that he said about Stevie J. The Usher part, that's a touchy situation, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a certain feeling, and I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business, right? I know, and people know, that was around that in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital.
So, if you have seen that Diddy documentary by 50 Cent, then you know that Diddy did a lot of men dirty, using them for his own advantage. And now with everything that is coming out, fans are asking Usher to speak up. All right, so y'all have probably heard those long-running rumors floating around that Diddy supposedly gave Usher an STD. And the thing is, that was allegedly meant to be one of the bombshells in that book Kim Porter was writing, the same book that mysteriously vanished right before she passed. According to the whispers, Kim was spilling all the tea about Diddy's alleged thing for BBCs, the men he hooked up with behind the scenes, and how Usher's mom supposedly confronted him after finding out what went down, accusing him of being intimate with Usher and allegedly passing on that STD. Baby, if even half of that is true, whew. Allegedly, when Kim was checking security footage from Uptown Records because she suspected Diddy was creeping on her, she supposedly stumbled on something completely different, a video of Diddy and Andre Harrell doing you-know-what. That was definitely not what she expected to find while snooping through those tapes, but once she saw it, she kept it, allegedly. And according to the whispers, that wasn't the only bomb she had. Kim reportedly also secured footage of Diddy allegedly taking advantage of Usher. But of course, that disappeared too, because right before her death, somebody broke into her home and the only things taken were her laptops. Coincidence? Still on this STD, there's a time a woman named Quantasia Sharpton, along with a Jane Doe and John Doe, sued Usher, claiming they all had relations with Usher, and they all said he risked their health by not telling them about his alleged herpes diagnosis and were seeking unspecified damages. The woman, who did not identify herself, said that she slept with Usher at least twice, and after contracting herpes from him, her twins were stillborn. Now, allegedly, this is the same STD that Usher had gotten from Diddy. We've been talking about this whole Usher and Diddy situation for years now, but maybe this is finally when people start paying attention. When Usher got signed to LaFace Records as a teenager, they basically handed him over to Diddy to mentor him. So at just 14 years old, Usher packed up his life and moved to New York to stay with Diddy. And this isn't hearsay. Usher himself has said that the stuff he saw in Diddy's world at what Diddy called Flavor Camp was not anything a kid his age should have ever been around. The parties, the environment, the lifestyle, way too grown for a boy who was barely in high school.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn some...
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I
Come
mean,
on.
but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
At the time when he was moving in, Usher's mom admitted that she didn't know much about Diddy when Usher was first signed to LaFace Records, but she gave him to Diddy as a mentor, and Usher moved to New York to stay with him. What Usher's mom said was that when Usher hit puberty, he basically lost his voice, and record labels no longer wanted anything to do with him. And Diddy, who was with them when the record label wanted to drop him, said he would take him, and that Usher's mom just had to trust him. She thought that she was handing Usher to someone responsible, but according to Usher, the things he witnessed were so wild that as a dad, he would never let his son attend Diddy's Flavor Camp, ever.
Faith Evans,
And your parents
Jodeci,
were
Mary
okay?
J. Blige, they didn't know nothing about that.
Oh.
I was having a good time, you know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 a.m. with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
And what kind, do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem. I had like,
what
like
a
living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
During an interview with Essence magazine, Usher basically hinted again that something went down while he was living with Diddy. When he was being asked about his career, movie roles, future albums, new business ventures, he was relaxed and open. But the second the interviewer brought up those years he spent at Diddy's house, he suddenly got real quiet and careful. According to the magazine, his whole energy shifted, and all he would say was, "I want to save some ish for my book one day." I'll put it this way, there was a lot of sex. Now, considering we've been waiting on that book for how long, whatever he's holding back must be messy, spicy, and definitely not PG. And honestly, if you've seen their interactions over the years, you kind of see what Usher was hinting at. Like that one wild moment when Diddy was telling Kevin Hart about waking up next to Usher. The way Usher's face dropped said everything.
It's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like, check this out. I mean, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up earlier than me. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world.
There was also this other time when Diddy was complimenting Usher, and it really looked like he was checking him out and talking about Usher eating his cereal in his kitchen.
I was so mesmerized, I don't even know what you're talking about. I was just so blown away by the stamina, the connection, being able to be connected that long, so much. You have like so much mother on this head, all those dance numbers and all that. Take your time with it, breathe it in. Yeah, they're yours when you go see this for you. This ain't for nobody else but you. You take that time, boy. I see you, fly ass fucking doing baby. You in the kitchen, eating all my cereal. Man, you doing babies in a pink suit. God is the greatest, won't he do it?
In addition, Usher is also one of the people who was mentioned in the lawsuit that Lil Rod filed against Diddy. Well, he wasn't exactly mentioned by name, but the lawsuit talks about how Diddy specifically mentored Cuba Gooding Jr. and showed him his ways, with the goal of passing him off to others. Lil Rod actually said that he was introduced to Cuba while on a yacht in January 2023, who proceeded to force himself on him until being forcibly pushed away. He also said that Diddy used his admiration of Stevie J to ease the fact that he's always been on the DL, and he even said that at one point, Diddy played him footage purported to show Stevie J hooking up with a white man. Lil Rod also claimed that Diddy bragged to him about allegedly hooking up with 2 other big-name celebrities. Their names were blacked out in the legal documents, but the footnotes spelled out some pretty telling hints. One was described as a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj, and the other was someone who performed at the Super Bowl and had a major Las Vegas residency. So, you already know the internet detectives jumped on that instantly. And based on those clues, people online concluded that the first one had to be Meek Mill, and the second one was pointing straight at Usher. Allegedly, of course. But baby, those hints weren't subtle at all. Speaking of lawsuits, Dawn Richards' bombshell lawsuit against Diddy also mentions Usher, as she claims Usher, Neo, and Jimmy Iovine witnessed him allegedly punch Cassie. In her lawsuit, it says, in the weeks and months leading up to the Bad Boy Interscope deal, Mr. Combs had frequent meetings with producer and then CEO of Interscope Records, Jimmy Iovine. On one such occasion, Combs hosted a dinner at a West Hollywood, California restaurant, which Ms. Richard and Ms. Harper were required to attend. Among the guests at the dinner were celebrities like Neo and Usher, as well as Mr. Iovine. At the dinner, Mr. Combs and Ms. Ventura had an argument. In front of the dinner guests, guests, Mr. Combs hissed at Ms. Ventura in a screaming whisper and forcefully punched her in the stomach, causing her to double over in visible pain, crying. Ms. Clark escorted Ms. Ventura out of the restaurant, and Mr. Combs remained and continued socializing with the dinner guests. So, Usher didn't just go through it with Diddy, he also witnessed Diddy being vile with other people. Well now, word on the streets is that Usher's mom wants to set the record straight about a few things that happened with Diddy. One of them allegedly being that Diddy is actually responsible for Usher ending up in a hospital. And this whole situation about Usher supposedly ending up in the hospital because of Diddy, that's not just random internet talk. Gene Deal has been very vocal about it too. He's literally said he doesn't understand why Usher continues praising Diddy when everyone from back in the day allegedly knows exactly what went down with him. The people who were around back then haven't forgotten, even if Usher keeps it cute in public.
Now I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that you gonna give him a pass? Bruh, you know I know.
Allegedly, people say that whatever Diddy had Usher involved in back then really changed him, which is why there have always been all these rumors floating around about Usher's personal life. For example, there were reports a while back claiming that after catching a Broadway show, Usher and his crew supposedly ended up partying at a gay club. According to someone who said they were there, the night started innocent, everyone hanging out in Usher's dressing room, sipping champagne, and then somebody suggested they hit a club. Next thing you know, the source claims the group rolled into a well-known gay nightclub. And when asked why, the source allegedly said, "We weren't looking for a gay club, it just happened. Most of us were gay, so we just went to a place we knew." Apparently, that's when the night really started heating up. The source claimed there were half-naked men everywhere, and Usher did not seem bothered one bit. According to the person telling the story, Usher allegedly ended up in a deep conversation with an older man, and they said, "Usher was all up in this guy's face. I honestly thought they were about to kiss. I couldn't believe what I was seeing at first. But then again, this was Chelsea. Anything can happen." The source went on to say that about 20 minutes after they arrived, people started crowding around Usher, and they figured it was best to dip before it turned into mayhem. But they still swore everybody had a really good time. And when they were asked if Usher enjoyed the night too, the source simply replied, "I know he did." It's also been alleged that whatever Diddy supposedly exposed Usher to back then, he may have later turned around and did to Justin Bieber when he became Diddy's little protege. And maybe that's exactly why Usher keeps things so quiet. Because if the truth about him and Diddy ever fully spills out, he could get dragged right into the mess too. Remember when Usher was being sued over those STD allegations? Those cases didn't stay public for long at all. There were even reports that he allegedly paid around $1 million to make the situation disappear. Maybe Usher will finally reveal exactly what happened to him after this. But as we wait, let me know your thoughts on this Usher-Diddy situation in the comments section below.